Hey, still December 7th. It's approximately 4:07. I'm out here on the Great Olympic Peninsula in the push. I just got done finishing Grandma and Grandpa DJ cut up their 30th year anniversary cow, elk. It was a fun experience. It was fun. It was a good time. Never a dull moment at the Jackson household. Some of the stuff that comes out of Grandpa TJ's mouth, is hilarious. I like to say, no matter how old you get, that. What's up, sweet Big Mike? How was school?
Good.
Good. Just right. No matter how old you get, we're all still kids at heart. Um, he keeps me on my toes. He is a funny man. I love to see some of the stuff that Grandma Pam was making up there. She put some hard work and time into, her crafts that she makes. And like I was saying before, if you ever want anything, like hats or anything that's cedar woven, she's your lady. Besides that, I kind of wanted to touch base and tell a story. I think I'm gonna give a story about a pickup that I had that got wrecked. It was kind of a wicked way of how it all unfolded, So the story goes, I was with two guys from Forks, and we were driving up one of the back roads out here, and one of the guys wanted to drive my pickup, so I thought, all right, because he was thinking about purchasing a Toyota. So I told him, yeah. So he had got into the driver's seat, and I warned him. I said, this pickup has a lot of power. It had a V8, light, a light back end, So I told him, take it easy. And we had taken off. He was driving. He was doing fine. And I see a lot of kids do this. I used to do it too. You start getting comfortable. You start fishtailing and things like that. And we had went down into a gravel pit out here on the Olympic Peninsula, and he was getting squirrely. And I told him, hey, I said, stop. Let's switch spots. I don't want you to wreck my truck. And moments after I had said that, we were coming around a corner, coming up out of the pit, and we were going too fast, and we completely rolled. We did a complete roll, and when we had rolled, we rolled and rolled over on the passenger side of the pickup. And the passenger, I was riding in the middle, and the passenger that was riding shotgun was a big boy. He was a wrestler. I want to say at the time he was probably about 280 pounds. He might have been a little bit more. And when we had rolled, his window was down, and half his body was out of the pickup. So the cab of the truck and the weight of the pickup were on top of him, and we were on top of him. Jake was the other guy was on top of me, and I told him, I said, hey, we need to get out. We need to get this truck off this other guy. He's not breathing. So I had held the door open and pushed the other guy out, and then I had to climb out, and we both ran around to the other side of the truck, to the cab side, and we could see half his body out of my pickup. And we had both picked my truck up, and like when they say that at certain times you get that boost of adrenaline, like you become a superhuman, you become like a super hero, in that moment in time, I felt that adrenaline rush, something had taken over me, and this other guy that was helping me at that time, and we had both picked my truck up, and as we picked it up, the other guy had let go and grabbed a hold of the other guy, and it was like as soon as we picked up the weight of the pickup, he began to breathe, which is a blessing though, because if any of us would have been knocked out, been in would have been hurt, he would have ended up dying because of the weight of the truck. He wouldn't have been able to breathe. And we had picked the truck up enough to where he was pulling on him, and I was holding the truck up. And I remember at one point I was holding the truck with one arm and grabbed the back of his pants to help pull him out. And this guy was a big guy. Like I said, he was about 6 foot, 280 pounds at the time, and we had got him out of there. My truck was totaled, which was a total loss. I was pretty bummed out. But you live and you learn. You don't specifically let some people drive your rigs. That's something that I had to learn the hard way. And I wish I would have stopped him beforehand, sooner, and got back into the driver's seat of that truck, because I'd probably have more where I'm at right now. I probably wouldn't have that truck to this day, but I would have had it for a lot longer, So yeah, I embrace, everybody drive safe, don't. I would like people to learn from my mistakes that I have made in my life, because I've made a pile of them, and I guess throughout those mistakes in life, it kind of defines who you are and molds you, and you grow into that person that God intended you to be. Life lessons are amazing. It's what you do with those life lessons that is key. Yeah, that was pretty intense. We actually got my truck rolled back over. There's more to the story, but I really don't feel like getting into a lot of details about it. I just felt like I would share that story. I love that truck. It was a nice pickup. It was silver, black tinted windows, had BFG Goodrich tires on it, Raceline rims. Had a tonneau cover on the back. If you don't know what a tonneau cover is, it's not specifically like a canopy. It rolls and rolls down. I actually got another really funny story about this pickup and the tonneau cover. Gary and I were out hunting Roosevelt elk out here on the Olympic Peninsula. And what's up, sweetie? Did you get it fixed?
Yes.
All right. Sweetie was working on the stereo outside. So we had been out all morning, and we had seen a group of elk that we didn't pursue, and we decided that we were gonna go check another location out. And on the way of traveling out there, we come back out, and we had hit the main line, and we were flying down the main line, and I had come around a corner, and this just cracks me up. I come around a corner, and we both yell elk at the same time, and we look up the road, and there's this group of elk, and you can see one bull right in the mix of them. And we had come up with this great idea that, Gary would get out, get in the back of the pickup, and then when we drove up there, then he could just get off, and he could shoot one of these, or he could shoot that bull. Well, at the time, my tonneau cover was laid out, so he had to just step up on the back of my pickup on the bumper, which the bumper don't give you much room, and he just had his bow laid on my tonneau cover. Well, I just started putting down the road, and the closer that I had approached these elk, the elk kind of started to go off the side of the road. Well, I thought, well, shoot, we better get up there quick. So I just gassed it, whoa! And while I did that, I totally forgot that Gary wasn't in the back of the bed of my truck, but he was barely holding on. And I could hear him saying, "Stop, slow down, slow down." And I'll never forget, I looked in my rearview mirror. Here's Gary. I love Gary to death. Gary's a big boy, but he can move out in the woods. I will tell you what, even me, I have a hard time keeping up with him. He's a go-getter. And he ended up, the way that he was laid out on my tonneau cover, and he was just flopping, screaming like a little girl. Sorry, bud, you were doing I can't. Oh, it cracks me up. And I got up to where those elk were at and stopped, and Gary had jumped off the pickup and ran down off the side of the road there, and ended up shooting at this bull, which is absolutely amazing, for him to keep his composure after that, holding on. I'm surprised he did not cut a hole in my tonneau cover with with his broadhead. And he held his composure, got off the truck, ran down into the forest there, and got to full draw. Took like a 25 yard shot, I think. We ended up tracking that bull for quite a ways. We ended up calling his dad, and we had his dad come out there with Jack. I tip my hat to Jack. I look up to Jack quite a bit. He's also a hunting and fishing guide out here on the Great Olympic Peninsula. He's taught me a lot, with helping me pick up on things that I wasn't aware of on blood trails and on tracking animals. Very knowledgeable man, very kind, got a big heart, and we tracked it for quite a ways. There's some. We ended up, we had pulled out, and this shows like the will to survive of an animal, or even say a Roosevelt elk, is absolutely amazing. The strength that these animals have, that God gave them, possessed them with. That we actually had a name for this bull. We called him Pete the Bull. We had a handful of encounters with him. At one point we were chasing him down the main line one day, and we were so close. He was literally kicking rocks up as he was running so fast and hitting the front of my pickup. I mean, you could hear him pating, pating, pating. But we had a lot of encounters with him. He was a very unique bull. He was real spindly horns. They were really tall though, and he was a 5-point that year. And on our YouTube channel, Northwest Bad Boys Bad Boy, we have some footage of that bull, like 3 years later, after that incident. We determined that he had hit him high, that he was going to live. And this is a proven fact. 3 years later, we end up putting eyes on this bull. And we didn't realize that it was that bull until later on. We were both going over the footage, and Gary was the first one to notice it. He was like, "Do you see that spot, high in the back strap on that bull elk?" And, we got to talking about it. We're like, "No way, that's Pete the Bull." 3 years later, here he is. He had got healed up, and he had come back out, and yeah, it's absolutely amazing the will that they have to survive. And in that 3 years, basically what he did is he had got to a comfort zone, probably in a swamp, and laid down and didn't move much, for quite a while. He had food, he had water, he didn't have to go nowhere, had himself in a spot where predators weren't gonna, they weren't gonna get him, that he could relax and heal up, and he did just that. And far as I know, Pete the Bull is still running around out here in the forest in western Washington. I have somebody could have killed him that I'm not aware of, but I believe in my heart that Pete the Bull is still out there running around, because I look at a lot of encounters that you have with animals out here on the Olympic Peninsula. You do educate them. They do get smart off you. You show them things, and they do remember. They do. And I think that Pete, we have made Pete smarter, with the encounter that we had when Gary had shot him, to when we had seen him and we had pushed him around that year and never successfully shot him. So, he's probably going to grow up to be one of the biggest bulls out here in the state of Washington, because of those the simple fact that we have educated that bull. Like the year that we had seen him, he was about a 240, maybe a 250 bull. He had a weak 5th point on the right side. They talk about, like, when the deer is hurt, like hit by a car, or they got any defect to one side, that side, that growth and that antler will be defected from it. And I believe that bull was defected from that wound that it inflicted, or that when Gary had shot him, yeah, that's, I hope someday I can lay eyes on him again and get some more footage of that bull. I'll know that that if we do ever see a bull anytime soon that's got that mark on him, I mean, he's tattooed. There's no mistaking Pete the Bull for any other elk out here on the Great Olympic Peninsula, you know. And right now, I got a fire built. Thinking about, I left some of those steaks out, or a couple roasts that we could cut up into elk steaks for dinner tonight. It's Friday night. I'm not going to do much. I'm just going to kind of lay around, relax, get caught up on a few things. I need to get a hold of Gary and see what his plans are for this weekend, because archery elk season is coming close to an end, and I got to see if he wants to go hunting. I know there's a jam coming up this weekend. I'd like to do either one. You know, if I don't go hunting, I wouldn't mind going up to this jam. You know, just got to keep busy.
Wow, bro, this guy's one shot.
Fortnite. Just got to keep busy in my sobriety. You know, if I slow down or pump the brakes, I'll end up on my head, and I don't want to be on my head. You know, I've gained so much ground and I've come so far that, you know, there's no turning back. There's no going backwards. There's no future tripping either. You know, I just got to live in this moment that God has gave me, you know, and embrace it for what it is worth. You know, with that, don't know really what else I want to touch base on. Besides, it's cold right now. You know, growing up in Forks, it's cold, and then you know, staying down here in La Push, it's a way different cold. You know, like, I believe it's colder down here. You know, because of the ocean. You know, I'm praying that we get some snow down here this year. I think that would be awesome. Got to keep this fire going. You know, got to keep stoking it. You know, the hotter the fire, the better. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna end this vlog. I still got to work out today. I haven't done that, and I've been getting it. You know, every day. Been taking some different protein stuff. 2 different kinds of it. You know, some recovery, some, you know, before. You know, a healthy body is what I'm shooting for. That's my goal. You know, if you feel good, if you look good, you'll feel good. That's the truth. You know. Yeah. Well, I'm already almost 18 minutes deep into this video. Just thought I would, you know, share another story, because I got a million of them. You know. I'll try to fester up another one. What I should do is just kind of write a list out, you know, of different stories to share, because I don't know if what exactly you guys want to hear too much, or if you even enjoy me rattling on. You know, it feels good to talk. You know, I look at this as like therapy. You know, so yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna sign off from La Push, Washington. And always remember, do what makes you happy. Don't worry about what other people say or think about you, because in the end, they don't matter. You matter. And everybody stay safe. And all the people down in California right now, in Palm Springs, that are down there with the wellness court, I pray for you guys tomorrow for a very safe travel back home here. We miss you guys, and what you guys are doing down there is awesome, and I tip my hat to you. And besides that, everybody stay safe, God bless, and take care. Okay, bye.